Hi everyone, welcome to today's recording on simplifying mobile test automation with the power of Appium. My name is Dheeraj Mahajan and I will be your instructor for this recording. So let's quickly go over the agenda or key points we have before we get started. So we will automate a sample application. The name of the application is the Swag Labs mobile. We will use the page object model without the page factory. So uh, we will focus on the Android mobile automation. We will use TestNG as a test management framework. So this recording will focus on building and executing the framework rather than covering the initial setup steps. Okay, so for this recording, we will automate a sample workflow on the Swag Labs mobile. So I'm going to show you what will be the screens we will be automating in Swag Labs mobile app. So the first one would be the login page. So user will enter the username and password and click on login. Next would be the product selection. Here we will add the products in the cart. We will review the items added in the cart and proceed to checkout. So in the checkout information page, we will fill in details like first name, last name, zip code, and we'll click on the continue. So next would be to review the checkout overview page and click on the finish to complete the process. And in the end, we will validate the success message, which will appear and navigate back to the home screen. So these are the steps we are planning to automate by building our framework. So before we deep dive into our framework, let's take a moment to understand what actually the Appium is. So Appium is an open source automation tool for testing mobile applications on platforms like iOS, Android, and Windows. It supports native, hybrid, and mobile-based applications. Appium works by interacting with the application through WebDriver, which we are going to see in few moments, by sending commands in JSON format. Okay, so now in this recording, we will build a modular framework with the following components. So this is basically an architecture of how and what features we are going to use in our framework. So first one is the testng suite, like testng.xml. Okay, so here like it will drive the test execution and life cycle with the tags, right? So we will be using the main test class, which will have a lot of tests like login test, checkout test, okay, which will in turn contain some test and tags methods like before suit, after suit, and so on. Okay, so the test class will basically contain test methods for validating the app functionality. Next, we have the base test class. So this will handle the setup and the tear down activities. It will initialize the environments and load all the configurations. Then we have the driver manager. This is the utility for managing WebDriver instances and reading the configuration files. Okay, in the page objects, we'll create a login page class to interact with the UI elements, example username, password fields, and login button. Next, we have the base page class, which will provide common utility methods for all our objects. Then we have the Appium driver, which is for core interaction. We will also include some helper classes, like Excel, JSON, uh, and for logging, we'll use the logger. And in the end, the framework will generate a detailed test results and reports. Okay, to execute the automation framework, we have to ensure this that the following prerequisites are in place. Okay, so we have to ensure that necessary dependencies are added, and we have enabled the developer options and USB debugging on the mobile device. Set up Java home, Maven home, environment variables. So the Java I am using is Java 11. Okay, then we have to install Node.js, example version 20.8.1. We have to set up Android platform tools like include ADB and other Android SDK tools. So for APM server, we use 2.11.3 for this recording. So we have APM inspector. Okay, so this will use for identifying and interacting with the UI elements. Okay, so we can locate the elements and build the accurate locators using APM inspector. So visor would be used for viewing the screens. Then we can add the capabilities, like we define the capabilities for APM to interact with the mobile application, like the device name, UDID, platform name, platform version, app package, app activity. So we have to ensure that the necessary dependencies are added in our object in the pom.xml. Yeah. So I hope you are finding this discussion insightful, and now we are ready to start building our own automation framework. Okay, so now we will start developing the framework. So let me open the Eclipse first. So I will choose the workspace, APM workspace, and I will launch it. Yeah. Okay. So now I will select a new Maven project. Yeah. So I will give a group ID as com, and here I will give APM framework, and I will finish. Okay. So this basic folder structure is being created. So for my purpose, I will start building the packages and the classes inside. Yeah. So I will build a new package. I will call it Android page objects. I will create one more package and we'll call it test setup. And the third package which I will create, I will call it as utilities. Okay, so this is the place where I'm going to write all the page objects. I will place the test setup file and I will add the utilities. So under the resources, I will create a new folder and I will call this folder as property files. Okay, so here I will create a new file and I will call it config.properties. Okay, so under this test Java, I will create a new package and this package will be called as test cases. So here I will place all my the test cases. Let's say I'm doing a product page test. Okay, so there this will be created. Then we have the Maven dependencies, right? So here we have the pom.xml. So let me open that pom.xml. So here we don't have the dependencies for our convenience. I will copy all the dependencies which we will require in one go. Yeah, and I will save the file. So in the dependencies, we can see that I have added one dependency for Appium Java Client 9.3.0. I have added one dependency for TestNG 7.9.0. So there are few dependencies for POI, POI XML, DOM4J, XML beans, and POI OXML schema. So these are related to the Excel. Then for JSON, we have Jackson, data bind, and we have one for our reporting. Yeah, and one for, so these two are for reportings. So now we have our pom.xml ready. Okay, and I will convert this framework into a TestNG framework. Okay, so we will get this XML file. So later we are going to manipulate this. Okay, so now I am going to write first the test setup and then I will write the test utilities. Okay, so now we are going to create a test setup.class file. Okay, and so I will go to test setup, right click class. I will give the name test setup. Okay, so this file is class file is created. So now I will first declare all the variables which I am going to use. So first one will be the properties file protected. The second one would be the Appium driver. So using this props, we will store the configurable parameters of the application. Okay, so we can see here like we have used this properties file. Okay, so we will first load this file. So in this properties file, I can add the parameters which are configurable and save. So server URL I'm going to pass from the property file, and other parameters are also added. Okay, next we have the Appium driver. So this Appium driver will create a new instance of Appium driver based upon the command executor and the capabilities. Okay, now I'm going to create for the HTML reports, extend Spark reporter. Okay, so first one we have the extend Spark reporter. So it will create the HTML report in the end, and we will add a report level configurations through extend Spark reporter. Then we have the extend reports. So it will create the test case segment in the report, and it will show the status as pass or fail. Then we have the extend test. It will create test case level logs. Okay, so now I am going to use the function extend report setup. So this extend report setup, like it will generate the report over here. It will like create a new folder test reports, and it will save a report with the name test report.html. So we use a standard way of encoding UTF-8. I'm passing here document title, Appium Framework, and the report name as Dheeraj report. Setting a theme. There are two types of theme like dark and standard. I'm using a standard over here. Okay, and I am passing this extend reports. Like I'm creating a new instance of the extend reports, and I'm attaching the report and returning extend object. Okay. So now I will be calling the before test method. So this before test method will be executed only once in a whole thing. Okay, so I am first initializing the properties file instance, and I will pass here the address of the property file. So since this is a file input, I will use try and catch, and I will call the extend report setup method over here. Okay, so the next step is to add the desired capabilities. So I will be adding the desired capabilities over here like this. Yeah. So this desired capabilities basically help the Appium driver instance to find the target device name, UDID, platform name, platform version, automation name. Okay, so once these parameters are passed as a capability to the driver instance, then the Appium driver is able to connect with the mobile device. Okay, and I'm passing the server URL. to the URL. Okay, and I am using Appium driver. So under the Appium driver, I am passing the URL and capabilities as parameters. So this method I will be calling as before test. Okay, so this will run before test, and there is one more method which is called the after test. So this also we will call over here. So why we are using extend.flush? So this is a mandatory step if we are using extend reports. So it instructs the extend reports to write the test information to the destination. Okay. So now we are done with before method. No, before test, after test, we are done. Now before method, like before running a method, I want to get its name. So I will be using the concept of reflection. Okay, so how we will do that? We will do that using a variable m, and here we'll give dot get class get name. Okay, then sys out we will give inside before method m dot get name. Yeah. So reflection is basically a method in Java. Okay, before method will be executed, a variable m like this will have the information of the method which is going to be executed, and we can get the name of that method using m dot get name. Okay. Yeah. So now we are done with the test setup class file and the config properties. Okay, so now we are going to see the test utils file. So this will be created under the utilities. So this file is going to extend test setup. Okay, so here we will be creating the reusable functions. Okay, like wait for element, click type. So now I will get started. So I can say like public static string. So this will be for the screenshots. Okay, so now I'm creating the element for the wait for the element I will be creating. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing is wait for the element. So in wait for the element, basically I'm using the WebDriver wait concept of WebDriver wait. I'm waiting for 15 seconds, and I'm passing a switch condition for visibility and clickability. So if visibility, I'm passing this condition like expected conditions dot visibility of driver dot find element. So it will try to search the element visibility of the element for 15 seconds, and for element to be clickable. Okay, I will again use this element to be clickable as the expected condition. So right now in the framework, I'm using only these two, but based upon the requirements, we can add more switch cases. Then the second is element displayed. So here I am finding the element by the locator, and I'm checking whether it is displayed or not. If it is displayed, it will return true. Otherwise, it's going to return me a false. Okay. So now the next thing I will try to do is, which is the most important thing, I wanted to show like how we are going to type and how we are going to click. Okay. So I will be using the function public static void type. I'm passing the element over here, string value and string field name. Okay. So what it will do is first it will wait for the element to be present before typing any send keys. So I will wait for element. So here I am passing the condition first, which is the visibility, and then I am passing the element itself, which is already there. Okay. So I will store it in web element. Okay. The next thing would be like before typing first we have to clear whatever it is present. So we'll clear it and then we will pass the send keys. The send keys will have the value which is passed from the parameter, and then we will use this and provide the value entered. Okay, so I am planning to make the text bold. So value will be passed here. Field name. Entered value in field name field. Okay, so this method is going to type the value and the result will be passed in the report. Then the second thing is click. So we are passing the variables. So it will first, as usual, it will wait for the element to be clickable. And then it will click. And after that, we'll pass the information like clicked on field name. Oh, 1 second. So here we'll pass the element and we'll also pass the string. I have added all the methods now for the test utils, which include the type, the click, okay, then the scroll method, what we have, and scroll and click. So scroll and click is an important method where we are first checking whether the element is displayed or not. And if it is not displayed, then it will scroll below. Okay, and once it is displayed, it will then click on the locator, which is being passed. Then the next method is to get the message, where we check first for the visibility of the element, then we get the text from the element, and then we pass it into the reports. The next is the capture screenshot. So here we are passing the date, like we are replacing all the columns and the spaces with the underscores, and then we are copying into the screenshot path. This is the standard function. And then we have a capture page screenshot. In order to capture the screenshot of the page, we are using this function. So it will first call the capture screenshot, and then it will pass a message in the report. So now we are done with the test utils class. Okay, so now we will automate a login flow for the web-based application Swag Labs using Appium and implement the page object model, okay, for clean and reusable code. So for this, first we are going to into the Android page objects package. Okay, we will create a new class over here with the name login page, login page. Okay, so this class is going to extend test setup. Fine. So see why we are using this page object is like with a very simple objective to segregate the page elements and the actions which we are performing on these elements. Okay, so now first we will define all the elements. Okay, then I'm going to define the methods like the username, enter username. Okay, so for this we are going to use two things. First is the Appium inspector, which help us to identify the element locators for the automation very easily. And the second I'm going to show you in the Visor app, okay, the display like this Visor app I have installed. So it will just show the mobile device which I'm currently connected with. Okay, so first let's start with the Appium inspector. Okay, so if so these are the parameters which are provided as JSON uh, capabilities. Okay, so now I'm going to start the session. Okay, so I'm getting an error, cannot connect. So the reason is like I have to first start the Appium server. Okay, now the Appium server is started and I can initiate the run. Yeah, so you can see that in my mobile this screen is now appeared. Okay, so my first thing is to find the locator. So I will click on this username and I can see that accessibility ID is test hyphen username. If I go here, search with the accessibility ID and click search, I can be able to found one element. Okay, so we are going to use this in our script. Now like we can use like by username. Sorry. So this is accessibility ID. Okay, so this is for username. For password, I will write password apm by dot accessibility ID. Okay, now we want to get the password for this. This is the accessibility ID which I have copied here. And the next thing is click on the login button. So if I go here, I'm clicking on this login button. I will copy this accessibility ID. All right. So now, like I have defined the objects on which we are going to perform action here. Okay. And now the purpose is to write down all the methods which are going to use these objects, locators. So for this, I will be first defining a method called enter username. So it will take parameters. Okay. And then like this approach will make the code very modular and easier to maintain. Yeah. I'm calling here type method which we have built in our utils directly. Okay, now the logic here is like if an action is not navigating to another page, it should return the object of the same page. So here, what the object is like, it will return the object of the same page. Okay, so now for returning this, we have to give a return type, and here, in order to return the object of the same page, we will give this. Okay, so similarly, we can define for entering password. So here it will be password, and in the results we will see password in the report. Okay, so again we are not navigating to another page, so it will return the page object of the same screen. So the page object of the same screen is login page, and it will return using return this. Now we will write the code for clicking the login button. uh, so it will use test utils dot, no, not type, test utils dot click this dot login button, and then we are going to pass the login button here, and it will go return this. But here we want, like uh, like here after clicking login button it is navigating to another page, so we will create a new class which says product page finish. This product will extend test setup. Okay, all right. So here once we click on this login button, it is going to navigate to another page, right? So you can see over here, so there are the credentials for standard user. You click on the login button, it is going to navigate to another page. All right. So this is the code for automating the login process of the app using the page object model. Now we will go to the test, the package where we are creating the test, right? So now here we are going to basically write the code of the test case which we are going to test, right? So yeah, so we can start writing. So first we will create an object of the login page. Okay, and we will write like verify add to cart. This can be our test case. Okay, so now how we are writing is, like we have made the object, we will give login page dot enter username, and what we will provide over here is standard user. Okay, the next we have to give the password, so we will give the password. Okay, and the next thing is like we have to navigate to a new page, that is a product page, so we will give the product page name login page dot click login button. Okay, so this is what we have here. So this is our main test. We can give a tag as test, but before this we have to use the before method, like where it can define like the login page also, correct? We have to initialize the value, so we can give public. So I'm giving just my name over here, and I'm defining the value login page equals to. Okay, so this will come as before method. We can also use reflection Let's see. Java reflect, test debug. All right. So our test case is ready. So this is a basic test case which is we are going to do. Just we are going to enter the username password and click on the OK button. So this is also ready. Now we have the test ng XML where I have given the test case, this class name like test cases dot product page test. Okay. So my pages are ready, my test cases are ready. I have also added the listener file and uh, my test ng XML is also ready. Now let's see. I will try to run. Okay, you can see that the app got launched. Username password is entered and the product page is being displayed. So the test got successful. And here we have a report also generated. If I go to the properties, I can open the test report. Okay, so here is the test report. So it shows at what time it was executed, right? What steps have been like what we have mentioned, like entered standard user in the username field, entered the password in the password field, and then clicked on login button. The duration is also visible. And here, like you can see, as of now, the status is passed. Okay, so this is like the basic report, extent report, which is generated by Appium. Yeah, so now I'm going to complete these page objects end to end, and I will show how the actual execution looks like. Okay, so on left hand side, you can see that I have added all the page objects for every screen which is appearing. Okay, and here I have added the test case. So in this test case, first I'm going to the login screen, giving the username password, clicking on the login button. Then I'm adding the two items in my cart, clicking on the cart logo, then going to the cart page. There I'm clicking on the checkout. Then the checkout info page appears. I'm entering my first name, last name, zip code. And after that, there is an overview page where I am clicking on the finish button, and I will be navigated to the complete page where I'm fetching the message 1 and message 2, capturing the screenshot, and then clicking on the home button. Okay, so in order to run this, I will go to the test ng XML first, but before that, let me just stop the Appium server and run it again. Okay, so Appium server is up and running. So I have my visor over here. I will click run as test ng test. So app is launched, username password entered, first product is added. It will scroll down and search for the next product. Now it's in your cart page. It will scroll down and click on the checkout. Then here the information is entered, first name, last name, and zip portal. Clicking on the continue. Now we are in the checkout overview page. It is scrolling down. Able to click on the finish. Now these messages are captured, and I'm clicking on the back home button. Okay, so now you can see that the run is done and one got passed. So let's see the report. I will just hit refresh. Okay, so now I can see on the left hand side there is verify add to cart, which the status pass. Okay, and this is the log of all the steps it has performed, and in the end we are capturing the message, thank you for the order, message completion, and the screenshot is captured, and then we are clicking on the back home button. Okay, so here we are seeing like how many test cases got passed, how many got failed. This summary will be generated in the extent report. Okay, so yeah, so if you have any comment and questions or suggestions, please let me know. uh, this is all what I was planning to cover to show you the power of Appium in mobile automation. Thank you.